Good afternoon and welcome to Sports Talk. It's Saturday, March 11, 2023. I'm Daniel Blake. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, it is a celebration of women in sports. It's the Women's Takeover, and I will soon introduce my very, very special guests. But remember that you can listen to Love on several different ways. So download the Love app if you have your smartphone or your smart device in the Google Play or Apple Store. You can go on YouTube and Facebook, and you can see the three of us trying to fit in the small camera range. When you can see me, I wonder if I should just introduce you. No, I'm soon do that. You can also go to love101.org, or you can do it the old-fashioned way. Turn on your radio, Love 101.1 all the way to 0.9, wherever you are on the island. All right, so let me just do the introduction because it don't make sense. All right. So if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, or if you're just listening on the radio, all right, let me start out with, I should go oldest. All right, let me go.
They do say age before beauty. Oh. Yes, that's what
that's
saying.
why no
say the oldest
age before beauty. That
that's
means
what
I would have introduced myself last.
Oh my
God! Easy on the eyes, man. My friend. Easy on the
stop it. All right, so first, we have award-winning sports journalist, MC/host, former hurdler. You're a vlogger. And you're also quite annoying, I must admit, but I do love you. Trishana McGaughan is in the building. Good afternoon, Trishana.
Good afternoon, Daniel. Good afternoon to the listeners of Love 101. Can you all believe the kind of host y'all have on Saturday? Yeah, I like parts of the intro, but the last part was not necessary. Am I really annoying?
And then we have one of my very good friends, sports enthusiast, presentations manager. She had to explain that all that. But let me tell you, athletes wouldn't get the medal without her. Trust me. And just an all-around superstar, Tiffany Wong. Tiffany, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Danielle and Trish and all the viewers. Everybody listening, everybody seeing us. Good afternoon to you.
All right. And we'll also soon be joined by Sports Latte host and content creator Janae Elizabeth. I wonder, I should use an accent, because the way I just said Janae a while ago,
it makes you feel.
Yeah, true.
I love French.
True.
Yeah, it sounds buzzy.
True. All right. So as you all know, I usually do my sports bits and my monologue for the week, but if it's a woman's takeover, right, or a woman's takeover, I don't want to hear what I have to say. Trust me, not this week. So if you want to interact with the women and just talk about some of your favorite female athletes, what you think more can be done for them and for women's sports in general, feel free to contact me at 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. That's the WhatsApp line. Drop your messages. You can leave an entire essay. I will read it. But, voice note kind of complicated because we can't do three things at once. All right. So just leave your messages. And if you are watching on YouTube and Facebook, please leave it in the comments. Carleen Blake, who I have no relation to, but that's a fantastic last name, saying blessings to you all. And Ariel B saying good afternoon, ladies and Daniel. Thank you so much. By the way, big up to all the women, not only in my life, but in everywhere across the island, across the world. You are truly the reason why the world is still going, because if it were up to men,
collapse a long time.
Yeah. Born.
Yeah. Even though it's Eve, why the world let me not go there. So
you really want to go there.
Yeah, his favorite.
We could go there if you want to.
All right, so just in time.
Yeah, make sure catch our breath first.
Oh,
all right. Yeah. So let me start with you, Trishana, because a lot of people might not know, even though they should know what you do. Tell people like what you do on a regular basis and why it is so satisfying for you as a woman.
What I do on a regular basis, I love to sleep. I believe that rest is very, very, very important, and we should not take that for granted. With adequate rest. It allows me to function better in terms of covering sports.
Yeah, I
It
think
gives
people
me
more care about that than the rest.
well, them can't know me do if me not. Yes, I must tell them what I do on a regular, and I incorporate rest in my daily life for that reason. You cannot be creative and flow and pour because that's what sports is. You're pouring into it. It pours back into you. So I take time to rest when I'm not resting though. I'm thinking of just the right output because that's important. And I think a lot of times I follow Michael Johnson on Twitter, the American sprinter, former sprinter, I should say. And his view, I think sometimes you find that the older folks get, a flogging somewhat for maybe their stance on things. But I think how and what he's saying, sports should be covered, especially that of track and field, because we love track and field in Jamaica. But, like I said, it's just a matter of where it's going. The talent sometimes isn't enough. So, um, that's pretty much what I do. Think of the better ways that in 2023 and beyond, how I can continue to tell the stories about our athletes and coaches and sports in general in Jamaica.
Lovely.
Oh, and I host. Oh, wow. So, and I host a sports show. I have a YouTube channel, and I'm a beautiful daughter. I'm a chauffeur for my mom and my little brother.
You're so sweet. Oh my gosh. Round of applause for Trisha.
Right?
Round of applause.
Yeah, a lot.
Round of
Yeah.
applause. All right. So, Jenny, you good? You can talk,
Yes, you can.
All
Catch
right.
our breath. Long time, don't it?
So, she was here recently, but since I was having this woman's takeover, I didn't want to have it without her. So, Sports Latte host, content creator Janae Elizabeth is here. Janae, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right. So, I feel like some people might tune in for the first time, so they didn't hear the last time around. But just tell the people like what you do and why it is so satisfying to do.
Well, I've always had a passion for sports, and I think that there's no limitation to me being a female in this industry. I think
Praise the Lord.
I can use what I have until I get what I want to impact this industry.
time.
And sports is, as a creative, naturally, sports is kind of like just an open space to express yourself. Every athlete is different. Every sport is different. And I genuinely enjoy speaking to athletes here, because when you see something, you don't know what goes on behind the scenes leading up to that moment, and that is really the interesting story for me. And it allows me to appreciate the sport, or whichever sport it is, track, football, netball, a lot more. So yeah.
All right. So swing the mic over, because let me tell you, and I'm being very honest, Tiffany is one of the reasons why I appreciate sports a lot more. Because
Tiffy.
no, because Tiffany will just be at a random sporting event. Like when I was like doing sports reporting, like I just see Tiffany go to these like things,
which is
and
right.
I never even know about it, right? So Tiffany, just tell us about even being that sports enthusiast, but also explain to people like being the presentations manager, because people don't know, so without
Every role
you,
is important.
medals
Yeah.
don't exist.
So, being a sports enthusiast, if I know the rules of a sport, I'm going to watch it. That's just it. So
Simple.
that's just it. It's a love of sports, and I learn every day. I'm learning new sports because the list goes on and on and on. It's more than track. It's more than football. More than netball. There's like things out there. People are like, I didn't even know people did this for a living. You know what I mean? And to me, just finding finding out what's going on, being a part of it, seeing it develop, and then people are like, oh, this is new, and I'm like, yeah, no, they've been around for like 10 years now. It means something to me to see a lot of these underdog sports, if you want to call it that, be
Minor
developed.
sports.
Yeah, minor sports,
Yeah.
but they're not really
They're
minor,
most
are they?
sports.
Exactly. As presentations manager now, it's a lot of hard work. You have to deal with a lot of personalities, not just with athletes, with coaches, with sponsors. You talk to a lot of people. You have to be running around finding official results. It's not just what you see.
Yeah.
on the TV. It's not
There's
just
a
you
DQ.
say right. It's not just 1, 2, 3, and you're just like, yeah, man, give them the medal. It doesn't work like that. You have to ensure that the timing is right. You have to ensure that the correct person is wearing the correct bib in the correct lane, and that is the person that you're presenting to. You have to ensure that your gifts match your sponsors, and your sponsors are present, because if your sponsor an event and you say, just come present, there goes that. You know what I mean? It's a lot of work, because a lot of athletes double up on events and they can't be sitting in the presentation area waiting on this. And then that's why you see a lot of times we have like
not
one.
collect my medal.
There you go. You have like a one school come up and you're like, oh, why you don't wait on the winner? Because these kids have to do 4x1 and they just came from long jump, and it's hard. We need a little bit more help in terms of like getting everyone together and on the same page. I know, especially for champs coming up, they like to steal them and take them for interviews, which is very important, very important. But then it's like, okay, when you go to interviews, come to presentation, they get lost in that 60-meter gap right there. Can't find them. And then presentations backed up. So it's a lot. I love it though. It empowers me. It makes me feel strong when everything is said and done, and I'm like, yes, everybody's collected, and it feels good. And I love to see the kids, especially the ones who never got a medal before, and they're adamant that Miss Africa on the podium.
And people never expect them to get a medal.
Yeah, it means a lot.
So to give away gifts, you have to have that gift.
You know, always come with the corny.
I saw his mind working.
Don't it? Him always come and watch it. Look at him. And then the thing is with something with Daniel. Daniel always think that he's funny. I'm like, Daniel, are you coming hard or something?
I'm not trying to make it about me, because it's all about the women. But are you really going to sit here on international media and say that Daniel Blake is not funny?
You have a little sense. You're not bad.
It's better when you read the caption, not coming from you.
Yo, Jerry, too far for this.
Anyways, we're going to go into a break because I'm a little offended. So we'll be back with Shoshana, Tiffany, and Janae right after this break. Right here on Sports Talk, it's the women's takeover. So stay with us.
Your Justice of the Peace can now be reached via email. Every JP now has a Government of Jamaica email address. To reach your JP via email, contact your parish custos or visit moj.gov.jm for the email listing of Justices of the Peace. For more information, call the ministry's toll-free number at 888-JUSTICE. That's 888-587-8423 or 876-906-4923-31. Visit the ministry's social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at MOJ-OFFICIAL-JM.
MOJ, taking justice to the people of Jamaica.
Your health is your wealth, so come we start the conversation. Make we rise and immunize all across the nation. The ministry is giving us the motivation to get your infants routine immunization. Protect the toddlers from all diseases. Tetanus, rubella, whooping cough, and the measles. Polymyelitis, mumps and the flu, plus tuberculosis, to name a few.
Rise to immunize. Eliminating diseases saves lives. Visit your nearest clinic or health center for more information, or log on to www.moh.gov.jm.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness and the Pan American Health Organization, funded with a contribution from the United States of America.
Here's an invitation for churches and community organizations. If you're hosting an event which offers free admission, tell us about it and we'll get the word out in Love FM's bulletin board. Simply email your information to bulletinboard@love101.org. Love FM's bulletin board for church and community events with free admission and certain fundraising events. Conditions apply. Listen to Bulletin Board on Love 101 Saturdays at 4:55 p.m. Love FM's bulletin board is on your family station, Love 101.
You're tuned to Love 101, the family station.
101.1, 101.3, 101.5, 101.7, 101.9. Love is all you need.
Welcome back to Sports Talk right here on Love 101. It's the Women's Takeover. I am your host, but I like to call myself a facilitator because Trishana McGowan, Tiffany Wong, and Janae Elizabeth, they are here, and we are just going to celebrate women in sports. And yeah, that's all we're going to do. So remember, you can stay connected with us, 876-997-3125. So if you like what you hear from Trish, Tiffany, and Janae, please let us know. If you don't, keep it to yourself. Also, in the comments on YouTube and Facebook, we are there. So let's start off with this segment with some of your, I guess, favorite female athletes. Trishana, being a former hurdler, even though you never bust big, I know that you said Dion Hemmings Makati, one of our greatest athletes, was your inspiration. Why specifically her?
I think that, again, not that many didn't expect her to win. They didn't. And if you listen back to that 1996 Olympics commentary, it is quite telling. They expected her to maybe be on the podium, but to win, it was a phenomenal moment for women in the 400-meter hurdles in Jamaica. And I think after that, if you are to ask, even when I interviewed Melaine Walker, she spoke about that as well.
I realized that you randomly just plug your stuff in the middle of your answers.
I mean,
which is fine.
Should.
Like plug it properly. Like when I spoke to Melaine Walker on my YouTube channel, which you can go and subscribe to. Like just plug it a little better, because yeah.
So when I spoke to Melaine Walker on my YouTube channel, and
Olympic and world champion, yeah.
Yes. On my YouTube channel, you can find that Trishana McGowan on YouTube.
Good. There we
go. That's better. Yeah. So like I said, I think in that moment for Dion and Jamaica, it was a change of the game. And it wasn't, you see, the thing is with sports, people think that because she's a woman and because of the event, it's all about her. No, what it did was to change the whole view for the event and the country, both men and women. We saw Danny McFarlane later on in his career leaving the flat four to take on the 4 hurdles. And many, again, thought he wouldn't be able to, but he got on the podium. So, like I said, for me, that in that moment, when you look at the success going in versus what she walked away with, really, really compelling. But my favorite athlete overall, that's hard. I have different athletes in different sports that I love. But I'm a huge Shawnee Miller-Weber fan of the Bahamas, huge fan. And it's not just who she is as an athlete. It's just overall the woman that she, I don't like to say portray, because the people in Bahamas, I tell people in social media era, you can't hide from things anymore. Mm-hmm. She's love, she delivers. Her, like Rihanna does for Barbados, they actually deliver outside of their field of play, and that's important. So I don't want nobody listening and say, but our Jamaicans do the same thing. No doubt, they do. But I'm just saying, for if we're to go through a list of women I love, like I said, it would come from different sporting disciplines, but Shawnee is my girl. Yeah.
Tiffany, even though you didn't do track competitively like Janae,
not even for fun.
This sounds like Karen. You know that Karen Madden, our sister. So Karen went to champs, and Karen never did. They thought she was a part of the team. That story is still too funny. They thought Karen was but she was also a cheerleader. She used to go to training session all the time by Andrews. So there you go. Really? So they thought she was a part of it.
I've cheerleaded.
You counted, girl. You counted, girl.
I cheerleaded in high school when I worked at Immaculate Prep. I did my cheerleading with them. I did manage the netball team though, so I did get a little training.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
I did. There's a lot to me.
You've spent a lot of weekends together.
But
this is new. Let me.
Yeah, but tell us about some of your inspiration in terms of female athletes, or even like administrators.
Definitely Shelley and Fraser Price. I mean, that's top tier. It's something being dominant, leaving, having a child. You know what? A child changes your body. is Alison Felix also, because I love her. That's our cousin, that's very real.
True.
She's Jamaican. But having a child and then coming back from having a child and still being dominant, that is resilience. That's it. And then if you speak to her, humble. She jokes around. She doesn't let the accolades, she doesn't let the achievements make her bigger than she, because she's little. But listen, she is a world of personality. I've met her a few times. Never any bad vibes. She always, her giving back. She has her scholarships. And then you will see her at random events and you're like, why is Shelly here? She just
she come out to support. She support her teammates.
Exactly. The athletes here and they're like, oh my God, she's so down to earth. But it's the resilience, her dedication to her craft, to wanting to be better, even though she's literally at the peak. Like, how much better you're gonna get? But she's dedicated to being better, and that just kind of makes me be like, oh, I mean, not that I can run or anything, but
just in everyday life,
in everyday life, you're like, yeah, man,
you got
if she can get up 5 o'clock, and so why me can't get up 5 o'clock and do some, even if it's just for the one day, be productive for a day. It means a lot to see them getting up every day, going to training. I'm not talking just Shelly, I'm talking about all athletes, because it's hard. I've watched my sister go through this, like, and just listen, early morning, heels, suns. I'm like, when I go to the beach, I'm gonna try walking on the water. If me get tired, I'm gonna go and sit them at the heels training and say, no, thank you. But kudos to all the female athletes, not just Shelly Ann, but everybody. Even if you feel like you're not gonna make it where Shelly never do nothing in champs, and look at her now.
Well, she did, but
I mean, you know what I mean. But this is the dedication and the hard work.
Make Daniel Cardin after all.
No. I just have a very random story before I go to Jenny. Since you're talking about Shelly and the beach.
You don't want to miss this.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. There's only one athlete or one woman that can make me like freeze up and like just not do anything, and it's Shelly, because we had a friend's trip to Helsha, and Shelly came with her husband and Zion, and I froze. I just hid behind the door, and she was talking. She was talking with Jordan, and she was talking with you. And I just could
Daniel,
not
come and
face
introduce her to Shelly.
I could not face Shelly.
And she will just make you feel like you're a best friend.
Listen, we were all there. She was talking to me and Jordan, and she said, Trish Wagwan, rah. Mr. Daniel, come to me introduce her to her and stuff.
Oh no,
Daniel,
you're gonna
I was like, Mrs. B, you want to say your husband freeze up?
Oh.
Let me tell you, I revere Shelly so much.
He loves
she's
her.
amazing.
She's a Wilmerian too. So.
Yeah, I have a next random story about that. Well, anyways, Jenny, you.
I think I would say there are two US athletes actually. Ashley Spencer, she runs 400 hurdles for the US. I just like her. Like she has a swag about her that's just different. When she does her preparation for events, how she carries herself as a woman in sports. I don't know. This generation of women in sports carrying themselves really good, because as in the other day at Gibson Relay, when I saw all of the athletes that were in NCAA that came down, I'm like, these girls look like professional athletes. I love it. Yeah, wig laid down, that not coming off. No. Looking very nice. So I like how she carries herself, and even when I watch her lives, she's an educated girl. I love when you're not just doing sports because you have the talent.
Yeah,
there's
more than that.
Substance behind you. And synonymous to Ashley, I would say Sydney McLaughlin. I've been watching her since she was like 15. When she went to University of Kentucky, she has a playful side to her that the average person wouldn't really know unless she posts like one video. She can play her basketball really well. Her husband,
she's just overall athletic though.
Yeah,
she is.
Her husband and her have a good dynamic, so you can see that that's genuinely her personality, and I gravitate to that a lot. And she works very hard. I don't think she's one of those people that she doesn't have to tell me that she doesn't set a limit for herself.
You don't need to.
Yeah, why?
Just do it.
She just does it. She's like, just do it. She's literally that girl.
Remember during the break, and I said we're all gonna,
just do it. And I really admire that about her. Sometimes you just don't see her, and when you see her, it's just big things. And I love that. When I see that coming from women and how they interact with other women, that's very inspiring, and it makes you kind of, sometimes as a woman in the sporting sphere, you kind of want to be like to yourself. You don't really want to interact. She kind of makes you want to be that bold person. Go out there, express yourself, be who you are. Who wants to accept it will accept it. Who doesn't, that's their business. So Sydney and Ashley would be
her picks.
Yeah, my picks.
Or are there any female performances across all sports that readily come to mind? Like, wow, that was amazing.
Let me tell you something.
1, 2, 3 words.
Yeah. Well, let y'all go first, because this one is very.
So you
controversial.
Said that and you're continuing. So
No, man.
No, just continue. Just go on.
Marianne Jones. I mean, and that's why I said they should have. While it is controversial because she later came out to, admitting that she took drugs, but in my opinion, she didn't need to.
She didn't.
She was so good. 400, 200, long jump, basketball, shot. Her husband, coach a shot put. And I remember that year when she won 4 or 5 gold medals.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, that couldn't go count because then she later on, it count in my book. Because like I said, in my head, she didn't need it.
She didn't.
But it doesn't take away. See, the thing is, you
it actually does take away. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and I say that to say, not because somebody might have, we all have bad characters or things about us, but that doesn't mean that we're bad people, right? Mm-hmm. So I say that to say, while she took the drugs, her athletic prowess was there since college.
Yeah.
And she dated the times when she took it, don't get me wrong. She dated the time, not to say she never. So we don't know. I am not going to say, yeah, should I take it long time? I'm not one of those persons. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to accuse anybody of anything. I'm going to go with what you say. Mm-hmm. But like I said, watching her in university and, the early part of her career, her performances were like, yeah. She made you want to.
So you don't feel bad that she robbed other women of getting their proper achievement.
So, which is why I said it would have been controversial. It doesn't take away from the athlete that she was prior, before she admitting to when she took the drugs. Because even before she admitted to that and when the timeline she took it, she was still beating them. Was she taking it then? I don't know. Do you know if she was taking it? Do you want to accuse her of that?
No.
So that's all I'm getting at.
No.
It's not, I'm not talking about when she admitted to taking it. That's not the time frame in which, like I said, she admitted when she took it. So I'm going to speak, which all of us should speak from a place of innocence, because she never admit to 2000 whatever, but she admit to whenever.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that even before she took that, minus that 5 gold medals, before, her performances were spectacular. She invited it in to watch when she was going to the pit, when she was on the track. Her energy, which I want to see more of our women
there was a
athletes
reason
having.
why her energy was that way, but
I don't know that. I don't know that.
Wow.
And I tell people that the thing is, like I said, you have to, in life, you have to know when to separate some things, because if in a moment you do something bad and somebody say, I saw him steer, but overall Daniel isn't like that. But nobody want to take in consideration the complete Daniel.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
No. I agree with that. It's just,
so for me,
like for example, like how them with Khalees the bronze medal the other day, like that, it's irrelevant because Khalees has probably missed out on millions and millions of dollars, and her getting that bronze medal at the time may have pushed her psychologically to another level, whereas that known drug cheat ends up robbing not only Khalees but that girl who actually finished 5th and 6th, because they didn't know that they were running against someone.
Yeah,
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
I don't want to get into that because
I don't want to, which is why I told them they should have gone
yes.
first.
So
but you get the strips.
Yeah, we get it, Tiffany.
I was saying that the only thing that comes to mind right now is the
1,
1,
2.
2, 3 World Tour.
Or
Because
that 1, 2, 2.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
How old were you when we did the 1, 2, 2 with Shelley Heron?
Oh, yeah,
You remember that one as well?
No, yeah,
Yes.
that's
Those are my OGs.
no, definitely.
You remember that too?
I watched
Yeah.
that, and also the 4x1 that VCB started.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that.
Veronica Campbell.
Yo.
I am, right?
But it's
I
just
took you there.
yeah, you did tell me that. It's just it's the consistency of the Jamaican
Women.
female athletes. That is it. That is the performance, the consistency. You know, people can be like, oh, VCB gone, okay, VCB gone, but guess what? We have these coming out. Everybody like, oh, Shelly and Elaine, who is the next? Have you seen these females? Have you seen what they're doing right now? Yesterday,
We can
I had
start
a
ship out
character.
some, you know.
Exactly. I'm talking about yeah, because let's be real, the resources here, and you're running these times.
No, they just can't make the team, but a conversation for another time.
That's true.
Usually.
My pick would probably be the quartet of Karen Stewart, Shelley, Sharon, and VCB. That was like time of my life. I don't know.
4x1
To me, I love seeing Karen run the backstretch and her hair is just in the wind, and that was just
awesome.
I really enjoyed watching them. That's probably something I would look forward to. You know, track you can't. It's not like football. You watch it for 2 hours. That's just, you have to know when the race.
In the moment of those 40
yeah.
seconds.
Mhm.
So I used to look forward to
blink, you miss.
seeing them. Yeah.
If I were to choose two, one would be Sharika when she did 21.45, because to this point I still don't know how she did it.
Mm-hmm.
And to know that she could have gone faster. Yeah. But you see, 2004 Athens with the yo, that is the greatest 4x1 race, because it was like the first time feeling like that. And when I remember the uniform, oh my god.
They planned to come out.
I was 10, but at the same time I knew like, whoa, mommy them hot.
Yeah. That is when the ball is
Are you
starting.
sexualizing women?
No. I'm just saying that they, because I spoke with, who did I speak to? I don't remember. But it was almost like they had this feeling that they were going to do this special something. So
you have to.
Good,
You see, the thing is about sports. I think Rihanna have this video when someone asks her, you know, what she does on the days when she don't feel like it. She said, pretend. In I tell people, you don't feel like going to your 95 every day, you know.
Mm-mm.
There are athletes going out there on a track, on a race day, Olympic, World Championships, Commonwealth, champs, etc. They don't always feel like it, but they have to show up. You have to get your mind in that frame of mind, and a lot of times it's really start with the outfit. Start with the outfit.
And even when you talk about females and getting in the frame of mind, remember that biologically we just like anything can happen.
Yeah, we're emotional beings.
So you need those little
you know, and you know what,
factors
Sonny? You had an athlete on that same relay team. You know, just before the race, her menstrual came. She still competed.
Yeah.
Right? She still competed, and they won. So, like I said, you just never know.
Actually, never asked you before, because you were a decent athlete in high school, and you've told stories about how bad your period was. Was there ever a meet, or even when you did run champs and just a bust you up?
Yeah. I mean, there are times when I would even because sometimes what people don't understand, when I did a story about menstrual health when I was working at where I was working. Anyway, and I spoke to Dr. Paul Auden. He used to travel with a lot of the national teams. And sometimes because the body and the mind already know that, all right, we have a big event coming up. So sometimes you find that because of that worry and concern, it delays the period. So then the period now go come out sometimes unexpected in the time when you're about to compete. Just imagine the cramps, or, you know, every girl, every woman, you know, travels with different menstrual cycle and the side effects of it. But it has happened. And there are times when even a senior athlete and you can't take nothing. No. You simply cannot take anything for it. If you're going to take anything, you have to declare, even a Panadol. So you are just left sometimes using a heat pad to help with the
Ease
cramps.
the
But
recovery,
you have to compete. I did this when I did the story and I spoke to netballers and I spoke to
Question,
track
is that-
athletes. They they talk about it like you can't
Yeah.
take nothing. You have to show
You
up
have to
either way.
show up, yeah.
Is that one of the stories that helped you to win the Sports Journalist of the Year 2020?
Funny thing, no, it didn't. Funny
Interesting.
thing, yeah, it didn't. I did that story back in 2018. Yeah, the
And
menstrual
not just
cycle
women
story.
in sports, but women in sports media, because we have to show up as well.
Yeah,
Regardless,
they have
To be experiencing all that pain, and you have to remember that information, stand up in front of the camera, and not show that you're you're
sometimes
in
you're
pain.
bloated and they're thinking like,
yeah.
whether even an athlete, they're thinking, oh, she's not doing her program well.
Well,
When in
yeah.
fact you are bloated and you're craving some chocolate. Like I
Sure.
said,
Yeah.
every girl, every
It's
woman
It's, yeah.
experience different
Yo,
things.
I can't imagine that my and I hope this don't sound graphic, but I can't imagine like doing my job and I need to change my sanitary stuff, like feeling.
It's and
things
again,
walking on the
and,
No,
and that's when you need a
yeah.
crew though.
Yeah.
That's understanding.
You
you
have
know.
to, because I mean, it's not just women in athletics, just women overall.
Yeah.
You still have to show up every day.
Regardless.
You have to show up. I mean, when I taught, you think we could have said, "Oh, hold on, my soup come." No,
Yeah.
the kids are there. I
Not
have
feeling
to.
well today.
Exactly.
can't
Yeah,
come
I'm not
in.
feeling well. I can't come in. No, because
Jump
it's
continue.
tearing.
Mhm.
Your back pain, back a tear off, and
Yeah.
you still have to show up, smile, big bright smile. Hi, how you doing?
Yeah,
You can't-
when we had a forum on it, we had a forum on dry phase put on by Dalton Myers and Rashika.
Hi, Rashika.
When we had that back in 2020, November, and just doing the stories, and I sent out messages to all female athletes that I knew, young girls and things, showing their names.
Yeah.
And like I said, people think that it's a conversation that you just go around and women are going to have. No, we're not going to have it.
Yeah.
Because one, it's not your business, if we're being honest.
That's
So God creates we. If we want to talk about it, we talk about it. And when I started doing the story, I was like, when I realized like, yeah, some of the women and the girls, they don't want to come publicly with their faith, but they will share their stories.
Yeah.
So I had to find a way of putting the story without using
Without
face
using-
and
yeah.
respecting that. And I was like, yeah, I really don't need your faces on.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's something that people say, oh, you find people who don't understand, both men and women who maybe don't suffer from cramps. Oh, we're supposed to get used to that because it
You
come
don't.
every month. No, you do
You
not.
do not.
I mean, who gets used to a headache
And
each time they have a
trust
headache?
me, 1 month can be okay,
And
and
then
the
the
next
next
month is
month.
awful.
Yeah.
So,
And
So,
you
you
never
know.
know what's going to come in the month.
Like-
Trust me. Like 1 month you can be like, oh, I have a headache. Okay, fine. Next month you're saying, oh yeah, man, I have a headache.
and the emotions along with it. So
Trust
the
me.
pain is one thing.
I don't cry.
Let me tell you.
Yeah,
guys
let's hear
are
it.
like-
Let him tell us.
Hold on.
What are you telling us?
Tell me how it
And
goes.
Tell
I'm gonna
us
talk
how it
about
goes.
my personal relationship. I will
Okay.
tell you, I produced
I'm
an
offended.
all-women's sports talk show for 3 years.
Yes.
3 or 4.
It's 3 or
Four.
4? No,
Four.
3.
Three?
2017 to 2020. That's 3.
Three.
Call it 3.
Oh.
And
No,
I
not bad.
had a host. I had 2 hosts. And you see, when them emotional, oh my gosh. But at the same time, like the first few months, it was puzzling to me. But then I started to gain an appreciation because I realized, because they never tell me say it was them time of the month,
Yeah, but you're not going to
Yeah,
just
going
go
to-
around and because
No, but I never know that.
No, because at the end of
So
the
when
day,
they must snap up here and say, Daniel, why not? I said, whoa.
Yeah.
but at
Even-
the end,
yeah.
but
Even-
at the end of the day, you don't want people to be like, oh, if
Don't
something
treat us
happen or
like-
if
yeah.
you're genuinely upset, you're gonna be like, don't worry, she just PMS.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Because
Want,
men do that.
yeah.
No, men,
What's wrong
I
with
don't.
you?
I
don't
know. But the thing is,
Stop.
we had to, honestly, Karen and I had to get to a place where
no. And sorry.
Karen and I got to a place where because Daniel and Jerome were really those men that made the time to understand.
Yeah.
So when we break it down to them like, we just have to go wing it.
Yeah.
And then some days, like you said, some months and then he would be like, they started
Yeah.
understanding the strips. Like, all right,
This
is a situation.
Yeah.
And they handled it very well without saying, oh, yeah, in the period, that's why you go. No, they understood. You need a break. You need us to go to a break. You need some water. You have tablet, whatever it was. And if something should happen where it is extreme, like we really can't follow through for the hour and a half that we were on, the one would fill in.
Fine,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
No.
big up
I had a
yourself.
Big up
chocolate
gentlemen
I had a
like
chocolate
that,
draw
no, for
because
real.
of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, for real.
cravings
Those
are
gentlemen
serious.
that under, and I call them gentlemen because
Because
they
they
are.
are.
Not all understand. Not all
You know,
understand.
I appreciate them because sometimes
We don't
you
even
can
want
be
to behave like that. You know? It's like, and when you
sometimes
sit
you
down
sit
and look
down,
back at it, you're
I
like,
can be sitting down and I look at this and I'm just like,
So
I
annoyed.
don't like this color.
you're annoyed at yourself, you know. You're like,
So just imagine a coach, a high school coach, for example. Let's not go to the professional level. Let's know us. When I did the interview, I spoke to a coach of an all-girl institution. So just imagine a coach having to deal with multiple girls, maybe on their period, because then the cycle now starts to sink after 3 months or
it does.
So just imagine a coach having to deal with that on a regular basis, along with our regular emotions. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is.
Yeah.
But Tiffany, I know that you talk about it being the presentations manager, right? And you are, to me, in one of those male dominated sports, especially when it comes administrative wise and the older men. Do you sometimes feel like you aren't heard or respected, especially?
No.
Okay.
No. Me personally, no. Because I'm going to say what I want to say when I
always
want
say
to
we
say
have to
it.
speak for ourselves.
For the first year coming in, I don't really know the ropes. I don't really know the sweats. I'm just like, I'm learning, I'm growing. But this past year, I've learned a lot in terms of just respect. You know what I mean? People volunteer, they give their time. It don't matter if you have all the money in the world and is you paying for the stadium, you paying for this, you paying for that. If you don't speak to these people who are volunteering their time for you with respect, the sport can't go on. You can pay for the stadium, but what's going to happen? You're not going to have no crew to do anything. Thank you. They all matter. So before I can say, I kind of was just like, oh, anywhere they send me. But now I'm just like, I feel like this is what we have to do right now. And yeah, I speak up. I speak up now. Before, if you had asked me this question 3 years ago, I would have been like, no, I just kind of let them do what they want to do. But now, no.
Your voice just gets stronger.
Yeah, no, I'm just like, excuse me, no, this is not the way. No, thank you. And I think it's not even disrespect. It's just them setting away. And it's like, times are changing. Things are changing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't hold on to, you have to expand with word. Not saying you lose all your traditions, you lose all of that, There's a difference between expanding, putting new ideas into perspective, but I don't know how to explain it.
No,
it's like,
I get what you're saying.
It's like, but no, now I know I speak out now. Trust me.
Probably also you understand your value.
Yeah, that, yes. It took a long time. I mean, still don't appreciate my value, because when Daniel asked me to be on the show, I was like, what I can talk about? I'm like, what do you want me to say? You're gonna, So
well, I didn't. Well,
so like, yeah, appreciating my value, knowing that I bring something to the table. I'm not just like, oh, them tell me to do this and that is it. No, because when you go around, sometimes in the presentation area, you have athletes just walking up and down, like they're walking, and everybody's doing things around them. I would be the one to go and be like, you need something, you're looking for, you want some water, you have to speak to, because they're the ones representing you. Yeah, you can give out the
tired sitting down there,
thank you.
At least
you have to be constantly talking. If a sponsor is upset, you can't just have people just walk up and down and don't know where to go, don't know what to do. You have to have a friendly face, you know what I mean, so that people feel valued also. So now I definitely speak up when I don't like something, because I'll say, okay, do what you want to do. And then they'd be like, somebody, and I'm like, okay. You see why I always tell you that? Yeah, no, I have this thing where I just say, do what you want to do, and I just sit and just wait.
Having 3 very strong women with strong personalities, it makes you sometimes want an extra hour for the show, especially when you're supposed to take a break a while back. But people, Trishana, Tiffany, and Jenny are still here, and we'll go up until 2. I should have baked till 3. Don't. But I have things to do. So we're going to go into a very short break, and we'll be back with them and less of me right here on Sports Talk, the Women's Takeover.
Your health is your wealth, so come we start the conversation. Make we rise and immunize all across the nation. The ministry is giving us the motivation to get your infants routine immunization. Protect the toddlers from all diseases. Tetanus, rubella, whooping cough, and the measles. Polymyelitis, mumps, and the flu, plus tuberculosis, to name a few.
Rise to immunize. Eliminating diseases saves lives. Visit your nearest clinic or health center for more information or log on to www.moh.gov.jm.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness and the Pan American Health Organization, funded with a contribution from the United States of America.
Kingdom Culture presents The Well Encounter with Maverick City's Chandler Moore and Naomi Rain, Kevin Downswell, Harleen Davis, Rondell Positive, Rhoda Isabella. Tickets at sparopen.com/TWE22. Supermed Pharmacies, Sangster's Bookstore, 876-676-5953. Sponsored by Clear Sound, Caledonia Outdoor Advertising, Purity Chase Fund, Love 101, Race KFC. Part proceeds to Food for the Poor. The Well Encounter, Saturday, March 18th, Sabina Park, 6:30 p.m. Meet us at the Well.
Wayne, you know Flo Yard Road now faster than ever?
Yeah, my virgin just get it.
Him love it, though.
Especially the 200 megabit speed and getting a Samsung tablet or phone for $999 plus GCT. You know you got the phone.
So, you coming home now?
Right after I pass the board.
There's never been a better time to get the invaluable value of Flow Yard Road. Sign up and get fiber fast internet at home, unlimited social, YouTube, talk and text for just $4,999 plus GCT. And save big on a Samsung phone or a tablet. Conditions apply.
Here's an invitation for churches and community organizations. If you're hosting an event which offers free admission, tell us about it and we'll get the word out in Love FM's bulletin board. Simply email your information to bulletinboard@love101.org. Love FM's bulletin board for church and community events with free admission and certain fundraising events. Conditions apply. Listen to Bulletin Board on Love 101 Saturdays at 4:55 p.m. Love FM's Bulletin Board is on your family station, Love 101.
101.1, 101.3, 101.5, 101.7, 101.9. Love is all you need.
Welcome back to Sports Talk here on Love 101. It's a women's takeover, so they can do whatever they want in the requirements of the Broadcasting Commission and the rules. So we have less than 10 minutes. We still have Trishana, Tiffany, and Janae here. And they might try to figure out how to go live in the last 10 minutes. So let me start. All right, I'll make Janae start out herself first. You good? You good?
We can multitask, you know.
Oh yeah, because men can't multitask, but
not
women do it very well. So Janae, you are one of the many women in sports media, so you would have seen a lot of our female athletes in track and field, the Reggae Girls, Sunshine Girls. We have a lot of successful women's sports in Jamaica, but they haven't gotten the support that they should. What do you think needs to change drastically for women to feel like they are, as you mentioned before the break, valued?
I don't think it's much of what an athlete needs to do. I think we just need to care. I think we don't care. If you don't care, you're not going to do anything to help or improve it. We need to that same energy that we give to the men, we need to be giving that to the women.
I would actually disagree with that. You should give less energy to the men
Oh my
and more to the women.
I mean, if you want to say
If-
that.
yeah,
if you
he
want to
wants
be
to-
technical
Yeah.
about it.
True.
But
Continue.
I think that we really need to just start caring because they are doing things. They're
Yeah.
just not getting the recognition that they deserve, and that's sports on a whole, whether it's the business side or whether it's the actual performing, whether as athletes, just care about the females in the industry because we play a very valuable role. Sit down and think about it. If you're just supposed to watch sports with men for the rest of your life, no little razzle dazzle, no little flair.
Why? You would have
Yeah,
to
see
shake.
the yes,
You don't feel aware, right?
Yeah, especially that if we look at track and field, just the whole production behind it, how women carry themselves, as we were talking about earlier, the vibes that they bring to the sports. We need it, and I think that we shouldn't conveniently care about women.
Yeah.
It should be something that's consistent. So yeah, I think it needs to start with us caring, and then if we care, then you're going to do things that people who care do.
Yeah.
Janine, last time she did drop a couple bars the last time she was on.
She always dropping bars. What are you
I'm
talking
telling
about?
you, she's an educated lady.
She always a drop bars. What are you talking about? That's what we do as women.
You have been saying it for quite a long time.
As in me, Trishana?
No, not bars, as in about what needs to be done. But give us the peaceful version of it. I don't want you to work up yourself because I know Liverpool lost this morning and you're...
It's not that serious.
Okay.
As women in sports, let me start with athletes first because I think that people don't understand the value of athletes, and that's for men and women. Without athletes worldwide, there can be no journalists, there can be no output of nothing. You can't have a show. And nobody want to hear from you really. They just want to hear what you have to say. So that's the first thing. Athletes need to know, especially the women, of how important they are. And like I said before, the importance is not what you do only on the track. Give a little of you. Give a little of you. I think that we have had some women before, and I think women before in sports who competed and women now. There's nothing wrong if you didn't do something 5 years ago or 2 years ago. It's a different time. So if you're now if you're still competing, and you're 30 or older, just go with the no, by giving a little of you. Yeah. So don't feel bad. Oh, in our time, that's something I'm not very fond of. Oh, in our time. What is in our time? It's a different era, different things, So you keep graduating. People need to understand that through life you graduate at each stage, and that's for men and women. And you have to graduate with the time. If you're not graduating with each era, you're going to be left behind. That's all.
Yeah.
And that's life. For women who cover the sports and work in the field or even volunteer in the case of Tiffy because she loves it so much. Like I said, just know what you're doing. It's important to know what you're doing. It's important to know your role. Let it never be a case where I'll always say this. Let it never be a case where you're being offered an opportunity because you're a woman and I look so mannish. Yeah. So we are putting a woman in it. But because you're so good, that they need you there. And even if they're not give the spot because they must have them need for thing, then make it be a case that when you're given the opportunity, you're so good, they'll be like, damn.
Yeah.
Can I say that? They're like, you're so good. And like I said, that's not just in sports, that's just life. Whenever you're given an opportunity, the onus becomes on you to do your part, to shine and keep shining.
Yeah. And I also think to add to what Trish was saying in the workplace, the men need women for the balance,
Yeah.
So as much as in you can.
Let's be real. For the balance, I just want to overpower. You want to flood out the entire department.
Yeah. I think you need that dynamic of the nurture and the protective. You need that kind of.
You have to, because males think a certain way, They're not seeing
what we see.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they cannot, but unless you bring it to them and say, okay, how about you look at it this way?
Yeah.
Then they'll be like, oh, that makes sense. And I'm like, okay, thank you.
But not invalidating what you're saying.
I'm just saying, maybe if you try it like this. Because at the end of the day, if you have an idea and them shut you down, and you say, okay, continue to do what you want to do, and then it will not working out, who they're going to come back to and be like, oh, okay, let's try and see how this works. But in the case of when Janae was talking about us not caring, you know what one social media post can do? in terms of like getting people to know what is going on. Like, why don't we have social media for the women like how we have it for the men? Okay, I'm a big fan of Jamaica Premier League. Everybody know me. You wanna see me every Monday, every Sunday. Right? Women's Jamaica Premier League plays every Saturday. Who knows about that?
I'm going to
the
say
people who are in it.
I have a view of regarding sport. No, let
You know
me
what
say
I'm
this respectfully.
But yet still, when the reggae girls are
no,
here,
man. You see, a lot of sports can be marketed better.
I was going to speak about
But just if you have interest in something, you're going to know when it's being held.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Right?
But I know, and you know, and Janae knows, Daniel knows, because we're
have interest.
interested.
Yeah, but who have interest are gonna know. If you not have interest, you're not gonna know.
But I think that's
No, because I've seen people on Twitter talking about, them never know character trials are keep, them never know this are keep, and if them did know, because you know what I mean. We know because we are interested.
But the issue is
there's no marketing, there's no big buzz behind it. We know because we are saying.
But also, to add to what you guys are saying, we don't even have a culture for women Premier League.
Exactly.
To be very honest. So you're not going. That would have to be something that we deliberately are going to push, because people are not going to get up on them Saturday and going, as in versus how we set up Jamaica Premier League, where it's a whole thing, we don't see that.
But then when you come to the reggae girls now, it's all let's give the reggae girls.
That's different because the reggae girls are on a different tier.
Exactly, but they're coming from the grassroots.
Okay,
you get what I'm saying? We're not.
So what are we going to do for the grassroots?
We're not pushing them up. We want them when them up here, but want to when them down yourself. It's like you said. It's like you're saying, unless you reach here, we're not really business. You know?
Yeah.
All right. I don't mean to cut you guys, but my show ends at 2, right? And I feel no one come back next week, and I won't be here. I won't be here.
No.
But I just want to let all three of you know that you are extremely talented and special, and I appreciate all the work that you do. You have inspired me in different ways, and I hope that when you feel discouraged, remember that a lot of things can't happen without you. Like you guys are literal bosses, even though one of you might be more annoying than others. Like just
you weren't here for
just
that.
Keep going.
I picked it.
Oh, okay. It wasn't me though.
just keep going. I love you guys and all the women in sports, even Karen, who has impacted me greatly as well. Karen Madden of TVJ. Karen, love you. Roshika. Who else can be good? Yeah, true. Time
Ariel.
Yeah.
Hopi.
Mother's Day soon comes. So.
Hopi guitar feature.
Anniversary soon. My time are done. So just
all
thanks.
women.
So thank you guys so much for being here. Really appreciate it, and thank you to everyone who tuned in to the Women's Takeover. Hope that you have appreciated women a little bit more, and that you'll continue to support not just women in the everyday life, but in sports, because they truly need it. Remember, Sports Talk happens every Saturday, 1 to 2 p.m. right here on Love 101. Please enjoy your weekend, and as always, watch some sports.